Have you ever wondered why saving your first $25,000 feels harder than anything else in your financial life? Like, it doesn't matter how many raises you get or how many budgeting apps you download, that number just refuses to move. You save a few hundred here, lose a few hundred there, something always comes up. Car repairs, birthdays, I deserve this, weekends. And after years of trying, you're sitting there thinking, how is it possible that I've been working for nearly a decade and I still don't have $25,000 saved? Look, here's the thing nobody tells you. Getting your first $25,000 has almost nothing to do with math. It's not about the interest rate on your savings account or which budgeting strategy you use. It's about psychology. The first $25,000 is the point where your brain either starts working for you or keeps quietly working against you. Until you hit that number, you're fighting every instinct you've been programmed with since childhood: comfort, comparison, and convenience. That's why it feels like pushing a boulder uphill. But the moment you break through it, something shifts. You stop seeing money as something that disappears and start seeing it as something that multiplies. My name is Michael, and I help people understand money the way school never did. Because honestly, school taught you how to pass tests, not how to survive inflation. It taught you about the water cycle, not the paycheck cycle. So if you've been wondering why money feels like it's always slipping through your fingers, stay with me. We're going to fix that today. Here's the truth most people never hear. The first $25,000 is the hardest, not because it's a big number, but because it forces you to become a completely different person to get there. See, before that point, every dollar you earn has a job: rent, food, phone bill, streaming services, whatever random thing Amazon convinced you needed at 2 in the morning. You're just moving money around. Saving feels impossible because there's no margin. And that's the first mental shift. You have to build margin before you build wealth. Most people think they'll save what's left over. Spoiler, there's never anything left over. The system isn't designed to leave you leftovers, so you have to flip the order. Save first, spend what's left. The average person won't do this because it feels backward. But that's exactly why the average person never has savings. It's not about how much you make. It's about whether you decide saving is optional or mandatory. Let me give you a real-life example. Imagine two coworkers, both making $50,000 a year. One saves 10% automatically from every paycheck. That's around $400 a month. The other says they'll save whatever's left after bills. 12 months later, the first one has nearly $5,000 saved. The second one has a new pair of sneakers, an upgraded iPhone, and $0. The math was the same for both. The psychology wasn't. The one who saves automatically made the decision once and never thought about it again. The one who didn't has to make that same decision every 2 weeks. That's the difference between being consistent and being stuck. Here's where it gets interesting. Once you start saving and you see that number cross a few thousand, something shifts in your brain. It's like you move from survival mode to strategy mode. You start thinking differently about money because you finally have enough to make decisions instead of just react to emergencies. Before that, every car problem, every medical bill, every surprise expense throws you back to zero. After that, you start to realize emergencies aren't emergencies. They're just expenses you planned for. That's a psychological breakthrough. You stop seeing savings as a punishment and start seeing it as protection. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of this. Because the first $25,000 isn't just numbers in an account, it's proof. Proof that you can delay gratification. Proof that you can stay consistent even when it's boring. Proof that you can choose long-term security over short-term dopamine. Most people never get there because they're addicted to the small hit of satisfaction from spending. You've probably heard the phrase retail therapy. It's not therapy. It's emotional self-sabotage disguised as self-care. We spend because we want to feel in control. Ironically, that's exactly what keeps us out of control financially. The first $25,000 teaches you the opposite. You get the satisfaction from watching the number grow, not shrink. That shift is massive. But here's where most people fall off. They hit $5,000, $10,000, maybe even $15,000, and then something psychological happens called the plateau panic. You start thinking, this money is just sitting here doing nothing. I should do something with it. That something is usually dumb. A new car, an expensive trip, upgrading your lifestyle just because you can. The plateau panic kills progress because your brain still sees money as something to use, not something to protect. You have to retrain that part of your brain to see your savings as sacred. Like, that account is not to be touched unless it's truly an emergency or an investment opportunity that multiplies it. Anything else is just your old habits trying to sneak back in with better excuses. Let's get practical for a second. If you're trying to get to $25,000 and it feels impossible, start with something embarrassingly small. $50 a week. Maybe that's skipping takeout once or canceling the subscription you barely use. The key is not the amount, it's the consistency. People overestimate what they can save in a month and underestimate what they can save in a year. $50 a week is $2,600 in a year. Add a tax refund or a bonus, and suddenly you're at $5,000. Do that for 5 years, and you're there. It sounds slow, but that's the point. The slower it builds, the stronger your discipline gets. Here's another mindset trap you have to break early: comparing your savings to someone else's lifestyle. Social media is the ultimate financial illusion. You see people traveling, buying designer stuff, eating at expensive restaurants, and you assume they're doing better than you. They're not. They're just louder about their debt. Real wealth is quiet. The person posting their new car probably owes $30,000 on it. The person posting their vacation probably financed it with credit card points. And by points, I mean interest. The quiet person driving the used car, skipping the luxury restaurant, and going home to an apartment they can afford, that's the one who hits $25,000 while everyone else is chasing validation. And here's the part nobody talks about. The first $25,000 changes your confidence more than your net worth. Because once you've built it, you realize you can handle money. You're not scared of bills anymore. You're not constantly wondering how you'll cover the next emergency. You start making decisions from strength instead of fear. And when you make decisions from strength, everything about your financial life improves. You negotiate better. You think longer term. You stop chasing every shiny new thing because you finally understand what real progress feels like. Let's talk about one of the biggest psychological shifts: opportunity awareness. Before your first $25,000, opportunities just fly past you. You see them, but you can't act. An investment comes up, a business idea, a property deal, and you can't touch any of it because you don't have capital. Once you've saved that money, suddenly you can participate. It doesn't mean you have to, but you have the option. That's what wealth actually is: options. When people say money buys freedom, this is what they mean. Freedom isn't yachts or penthouses. It's being able to say yes or no without panic. But let me be brutally honest. The habits that get you to your first $25,000 are not glamorous. It's cutting back when your friends don't. It's saying no to the let's go out texts when your budget says no. It's cooking at home when you'd rather not. It's checking your account before swiping your card. It's boring, repetitive, and at times it will feel pointless. But here's the thing: that boredom is your brain rewiring. You're teaching yourself patience, discipline, and foresight. 3 traits that will make you rich long before any investment strategy does. This is where it gets crazy. Once you hit $25,000, you'll realize it wasn't even about the money. It was about becoming someone who can be trusted with money. That's what makes it a breakthrough. People think financial success is about making more. It's not. It's about keeping more. And if you can't manage $5,000, you won't manage $50,000. If you can't manage $25,000, you won't manage $100,000. The habits don't change, the numbers just get bigger. Here's a reality check moment. If you're making decent money and still have no savings, it's not a math problem, it's a behavior problem. You're earning enough, you're just leaking it everywhere. Every meal out, every random Amazon package, every upgrade you justify with "I deserve it," you deserve peace of mind more than you deserve another gadget. And peace of mind starts with a savings buffer that buys you breathing room. Think of your first $25,000 like a wall between you and chaos. Without it, every setback feels like a disaster. With it, life still happens, but you don't spiral. The car breaks down, annoying, not devastating. You lose your job, stressful, but manageable. Someone with $25,000 in savings reacts differently to life than someone with $25. That's not luck, that's preparation. Let's look at it another way. That first $25,000 is your psychological apprenticeship for wealth. It's where you learn how to manage money emotionally before you manage it mathematically. You learn how to delay gratification, say no to lifestyle creep, and separate real needs from manufactured ones. Once you've done that, building more becomes inevitable Because by then, you've already beaten the hardest boss, yourself. Most people never hit this point because they think the big money habits start later. They don't. The habits you form to save your first $25,000 are the same habits that will one day build your first million. The only difference is time and scale. It's like going to the gym. You don't lift the heavy weights first. You build strength with small, consistent reps. Saving money works the same way. Every small, boring deposit is a rep that builds your financial muscle. Eventually, you look up and realize you've built something solid, not by luck, but by discipline. Here's something I wish more people understood. Saving is emotional safety, not financial restriction. Having money saved doesn't mean you're cheap or boring. It means you've chosen peace over panic. Every dollar saved is a piece of your future freedom, and if that sounds dramatic, it's because most people have never felt what financial peace actually feels like. They've only known survival. Once you hit that $25,000, you'll feel it. That calm when something goes wrong and you realize, oh, I can handle this. That's what you've been chasing all along. But let's keep it real. You will backslide sometimes. You'll dip into savings for something you probably shouldn't have. You'll get frustrated when progress feels slow. That's normal. What matters is what happens next. Most people make a mistake and then give up entirely. They drain their savings, feel guilty, and start from zero again. The smart ones, the ones who break through, treat mistakes as tuition. You paid for a lesson. Now learn from it. Refill the account. Get back to consistency. And let's talk about investing for a second. You don't need to start investing before you hit $25,000. You can, but it's not mandatory. What's mandatory is proving to yourself that you can hold on to money first. Investing magnifies behavior. If you're impulsive, you'll lose it faster. If you're disciplined, you'll grow it faster. So use that first $25,000 to train your instincts. Once you've proven you can save, then you can start multiplying. Now, I know some people will say, Michael, $25,000 doesn't even go that far these days. You're right. It won't buy you a house or retire you, but that's not the point. The point is that $25,000 is the psychological threshold where your relationship with money permanently changes. It's the difference between constantly reacting to life and finally directing it. Once you hit it, you'll never see money the same way again. Because here's the truth. Your first $25,000 isn't just about what's in the bank. It's about who you had to become to put it there. The discipline, the patience, the self-control, the humility to live below your means when everyone else is flexing fake wealth. That version of you is unstoppable. Because if you can save $25,000, you can save 100. If you can save 100, you can invest and grow it to 1,000,000. The math doesn't get harder, you just get stronger. So, what's the takeaway here? Simple. Your first $25,000 isn't just a financial milestone, it's a psychological revolution. It's where you stop being a consumer and start becoming a builder. It's where you stop saying, I can't save, and start saying, I choose to. It's where you stop living on autopilot and start living on purpose. You don't need to look rich. You need to stop being stressed. Because once you've built that foundation, once you've proven to yourself that you can create stability from chaos, everything that comes after feels lighter, faster, and easier. The first $25,000 hurts, but after that, the game changes forever.